So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Today, welcome you back here at BSN Arc. This is the BSN Arc podcast here today. It is Monday, September 28th. Everybody's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. I know I did. Hopefully you did as well. I had a good weekend, although the Jets made my Sunday a little rough once again as the Jets get absolutely slaughtered again in Indianapolis against the Indianapolis Colts. Got absolutely crushed. They go home losers again, 36-7. Weren't even competitive. Horrible. I'll talk about that coming up on the podcast. We got that. The Giants looked bad. Giants looked absolutely horrible. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. Giants looked horrible. Jets looked horrible. All that stuff. But hopefully you did enjoy your weekend. I know Saturday Miami won. Big win for them. All that good stuff. Then Sunday the Jets really stunk it up. And so hopefully everybody had a good weekend. It is Monday. It is the Monday podcast. MLB season, the 60-game season, a season unlike any other, is officially done with. Today is the day off. Teams travel day, whether they're going home or away, whatever the day is. Today is technically travel day for the players. So the Yankees are on their way to Cleveland, and the Indians are waiting to see the Yankees play tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESPN. Then on Wednesday, it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard on ESPN. And then Thursday, if needed, a Game 3. The time is not announced yet, but the Yankees will play the Indians if needed a Game 3. So hopefully, I'm hoping that the Yankees sweep them, win the first two games, so then Thursday I don't have to run into possibly a scheduling conflict with the Jets game and the Yankees game. So I'm hoping the Yankees just sweep them. Either way, I would hope the Yankees just sweep them, so then it doesn't have to make me really nervous going into that Thursday game. I'm hoping the Yankees sweep the Indians. Tomorrow it's the Garrett Cole versus Shane Bieber matchup. You can make the argument the two best pitchers in the postseason this year. So the Yankees come in struggling a little bit, but the Yankees do come in as a playoff team. That is really huge. This was a team that a couple weeks ago we were talking about possibly not even making the playoffs. They are now in the playoffs, and the Yankees are in playing the Indians. We'll talk about that. All that tomorrow, right? So tomorrow, first day of the playoff, I'll give you my bracket. I'll give you all that stuff, give you the playoff bracket, all that stuff tomorrow on the podcast. So it should be exciting. Hopefully you enjoy that. So with all that being said, this is today's topics, the NFL game / the Jets and the Giants. We'll talk about all the NFL games. We'll recap Sunday's action of Week 3 of the NFL season. Another great week of football. Then we have the fantasy football results. I'll read through players who did well, players who struggled, players who achieved, players who overachieved, players who played well, and just overall the fantasy for the weekend and players tonight that are playing for me or that could be playing for you, and I'll give you kind of some insight on them. And then we got to cap off the podcast for the day, like I always do, Yankees and the Mets for the final time this year. I will be talking about the Mets, as tomorrow we'll be starting Yankees and pretty much Stanley Cup, but Stanley Cup might be over. I could very well be, by Wednesday, I could just be talking about the Yankees. So that's exciting. And so we have Yankees, Mets, Stanley Cup, college football games, and Miami. So a packed day of sports again. I tell you, Fridays and Mondays are my most packed days because I talk pretty much baseball, I talk baseball, hockey, football, and college football. So I talk four different leagues, right? You know, college football and football are the same sport, but technically I talk four different sports leagues. So college football, NFL, NHL, MLB. So all that good stuff coming up here on the podcast. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. This is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So the New York Jets, let me get it up here. So the New York Jets lose again. They lose once again. The New York Jets, lose again. Find myself saying that way too much. And by the way, you don't know how happy I am about the Yankees making the playoffs, because that's something I could cheer about, right? Yesterday Voit was named the home run champion, right? Yesterday LeMahieu was the batting title. He won the batting title. First time ever a player won in the history of the MLB won a batting title in both the NL and the AL. He won it with the Rockies and now with the Yankees. So I was really happy to hear that. And then the Jets just had to absolutely ruin it. So the Jets, first off, we just got absolutely we got blown out. We got absolutely destroyed. We lost. The Jets lose 36-7. A miserable performance for the New York Jets. Just another one of these horrible performances. And it is getting worse, people. It is getting worse. So I was sitting there watching that game, right? So Darnold had a horrible game. Okay, Darnold had a horrible game. There's no other way of saying it. Darnold had a horrible game. Adam Gaze's got to go, first off. I know I'm speaking a lot here. I could go 5 different ways with this because of how bad the Jets played. The Jets played horrible. I mean, they was bad. Once again, we were pretty much done going into halftime. We were down by only 10, but sure enough, we weren't able to score anymore. We scored our second drive of the game, and that was it. You can't win a game scoring 7 points. And our defense almost let up 40 against a decent Colts offense. They're not the Seahawks. They're not the Chiefs. They're not the Ravens. They're not the Cowboys. They're the Colts. And they almost put up 40 points. Unbelievable. Horrible. So I'm sitting there watching that game, right? I'm sitting there, right? Darnold throws the pick six. Right there, I'm like, the Jets lose. Either way, going into the game, I thought the Jets were going to lose anyway. Darnold throws the pick six. I'm like, okay, that's the game. The next drive, we start the drive. We score. We score a touchdown. First time this year we scored a touchdown in the first half. I'm like, okay, this is promising news. Great play by Darnold. Threw it to Berrios. Touchdown. Good play. I was like, okay, this is good. We're doing good. We're doing good. I was like, okay, this may not be as bad as I thought. We go into the half 7-7. Then the Colts score 17-7. So we go into second quarter down 10. Going into at the half, I wasn't too mad. I didn't like what Darnold was doing. He threw 3 picks. He threw 3 picks, one interception, or 3 picks, 1 touchdown, and a 3 picks, 1 touchdown, and a pick 6 as well. So technically he threw 2 touchdowns, one of the other team. I think he threw 2 pick 6 or 2 pick 6s. He threw 2 pick 6s and a regular interception, and then he threw a touchdown. So I'm going into the half, we're down by 10. I was like, okay, this could be worse. The first 2 games of the season, we were down 21-3 going to the half. We were down by 18. Like, this half, it actually seemed like we were kind of in the game. I was like, okay, all right. Then to come out of the half, I'm pretty sure, I think if I can remember correctly, the defense forced a quick 3-and-out, I'm pretty sure. And we get the ball. And we get the ball 17-7. We are pinned back. I think we get the ball to, like, our own 8-yard line. A nice punt by the Colts punter. I was like, okay, we're at our own 8-yard line. Maybe, at least we can maybe get a field goal out of this drive. And that would put us in within a score. That's not the case. Darnold, I think that drive then throws another pick 6. Or maybe I don't know. But anyway, we go and then the Colts absolutely go off for another huge third quarter. And they're going into the fourth quarter with a 31-7 lead. And this is where I really, 31-7, I'm like, okay, we're losing. I was very frustrated. I was angry. I was yelling at the TV. I was to the point where I was just like, yep, this is another loss. We're 0-3. We're at the bottom of the division. Worst team in football. We're 31-7. I was like, I was like, it can't get much worse than this, right? But yes, it can. Remember, I'm watching the New York Jets. It got even worse, okay? It got even worse. They're playing their backups, their second teamers, their third teamers. They're playing their backups because they're up by 31-7, but yet still they get a safety on us. And it's 33-7 now. It's 33-7. We're pinned back at our own 5-yard line, and Darnold just takes a big sack, and it's a safety. Their backups, their third string, their second stringers get a safety on us. I didn't think it could get that much worse. It got worse. They get a sack. They get a safety. Everything went wrong on that play that could have went wrong. And now we're down 33-7. And then all of a sudden, we're down 36-7, and that's the game. And the Jets' second possession was the positive possession. Darnold played horrible. There's no other way of saying it. I'm not going to say anything positive about it because we played horrible. The Jets played horrible. And you can't say the defense played all that great, although they was the only maybe upside. You can't say the defense played all that great because guess what? The defense forced absolutely no pressure on Phillip Rivers. We had no sacks all day long. He had all the time in the world. So you can't say our defensive front did anything. Our secondary, there were some really bad plays. If you look back at the replays and stuff, the amount of open receivers there were across the middle was just disgusting. And this was probably, I think, the worst Jets loss all season. Worse than the Bills, worse than the Niners, I think. Worse than the Bills and worse than the Niners. We lost by 29 points, people. The other two games, we lost by 10 and we lost by 18. We lost by 29 points. We lost by 4 scores. 36-7. Once again, the Jets go down. But yet, still, we're sitting here on this Monday, and Gaze is still not fired. I don't care if yesterday was all Darnold. We just have to get rid of that guy. We have to get rid of Gaze. He is horrible, not a good play caller, just a horrible coach. And I'm telling you what, the Jets may go 0-16. Look up their schedule and tell me where you see a win. Okay, Thursday night, maybe. There's a long shot, but there's a possibility. Maybe we squeak one out against the Broncos because they are playing Drew Driscoll. There might be rumors that they play Blake Bortles, and they don't have Cortland Sutton, and they don't have Drew Lock, and they don't have Von Miller. Maybe. There's a possibility. There's a slim chance that we do beat the Broncos tonight. There's a shot. We're only 2.5. We're 3-point underdogs, right? I think that's the lowest. I think that's the closest we've been to. That's the lowest underdogs we've been all season. We were 12.5. We were 11.5 last week. This week, going into the Bills game, we were 6.5, and in the Niners game, we were 7. So we're only 3-point underdogs here, but that's also because the Broncos are playing with about an arm and a leg, because there were no Lock, no Cortland Sutton, still probably no Philip Lindsay, already no Von Miller, and they might be down to technically their third string because Bortles, they just picked them up off of free agency. So they might be starting Bortles. So there is a slim chance. I don't predict us to win, but if we're going to get a win this season, it'll probably be the Broncos game. And if we lose to the Broncos, I don't think we get a win this season. You could say the Dolphins, but the Dolphins has played well. The Dolphins were in it against the Bills. The Dolphins beat the Jaguars. The Dolphins have proven people, nationally television too, on Thursday night, that they have proven people that they can play. They can compete. They're not as bad as we all think they are. And who knows? By the time the Jets play the Dolphins, who knows? Tua could be, their quarterback by then. So I think that the only way the Jets go, I think the Jets go 1-15. I think we go 2-14 at best. 2-14 at best. Because now the Browns seem like they're turning around too. So you forget about that game. Here we go again. Another miserable season by the New York Jets. This is what things about football seasons. Like the Jets season's already done. Like it's done. Like we're 0-3. There's no way we're making the playoffs. Like we're done. We're pretty much done. This is what stinks about the football season. Now we have to wait a whole year to see if we can even compete. So it stinks. We're pretty much done. We might be the first team to get eliminated. We might go 0-16. Our offense looks flat. I mean, there's no positives coming out of our offense. We've scored 37 points in 3 games, and the Seattle Seahawks scored 38 points in 1 game. They scored more points in 1 game than we have in 3 games. How embarrassing is that? And I root for this team. Just so embarrassing. Every Sunday when I get up, that's little chance, that slim chance. I get up, I'm pumped, I'm really happy. I'm excited that it's game day. I'm looking at, fantasy lineups and stuff. I'm excited. And I'm like, okay, sometimes I get excited and stuff, and I really okay, maybe there is a chance. I don't think this. Every week I think the Jets will probably lose. But sometimes I think, okay, maybe is there the slimmest bit of hope? But yet every single week the Jets lose. And we lose some more. And lose some more. And none of these games are we in it. Okay, I know I said going into half we were only down by 10, but that doesn't matter. I mean, and then we get, that's another thing too. There's another thing too. It couldn't get, if it only could get even more worse, it did get more worse. After that safety call, that next play, we have 12 men on the field on defense. It's like, oh my, is this an NFL team? Am I watching an NFL team? Am I watching an NFL team? Am I watching that? I was thinking that a lot yesterday. So the Jets moved to a atrocious 0-3 record, and to be honest, every time I come on this podcast on Monday, I'm pretty much on Friday too. I'll probably come on the podcast, and more than likely I'll be talking about another Jets loss. Although I think it will probably be a closer game than 36-7, I will probably be talking about another Jets loss. So, the Jets now move to a horrible 0-3. and we still have Adam Gase as our head coach. And if we get crushed on Thursday, Friday Gase might be out. So, here are the numbers from the game. Darnold went 17-19, 168 yards, 9.9 was average, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 2 sacks, and a rating of 47. Absolutely horrible. Gore had 15 rushes for 57 yards, 3.8 was average, Long was 10. P. Ryan had 7 attempts for 24 yards, 3.4. Darnold had 5 attempts for 20 yards, 4 yard. And then Balaj had 2 attempts for 8 yards. Receiving, Berrios had a touchdown. Balaj had a couple nice targets. Darnold tried to find Lawrence Kager in the end zone, a horrible throw by Darnold. Darnold made bad mistakes. It was evil. Darnold played horrible. I think that was the worst game Darnold's played all year. Darnold now sits at 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So he played miserable yesterday. He looked horrible. He showed flashes of last year, Darnold. This year I noticed his footwork in the pocket's been a little bit better, just because I think of protection. But yesterday he showed a lot of last year's Darnold, making bad decisions. His footwork was horrible. I think it's also because he was without George Font, and Mekhi Becton left the game early, and I think that got in his head, and I think his footwork got all messed up, and he just started panicking and making stupid throws. Darnold's got to be better than that. Once again, in post-game interview, Darnold says, "Oh, it's on me once again." So the Jets lose again. So, the Jets lose once again. So, there's not really much more I could say about how bad we are, except this. I just don't know. I think it's going to get worse. I just don't know how much more it could get worse. Rivers went 20-17-21, 217 yards, 12.8 was average, 1 touchdown, and a rating of 125.6. Jonathan Taylor had 13 attempts for 59 yards, 4.5 was average, a touchdown. Nakeem Hines had a couple nice runs. T.Y. Hilton had 3 receptions. Pittman got some receptions, 4 targets, 3 receptions for 26 yards. They got to get Pittman more involved, I feel. I think Pittman's a good receiver. They got to get him maybe a little bit more involved. He's tall, he's lengthy. I understand he's a second-round pick, so you might not start him immediately, but I definitely think they should take shots to him. T.Y. Hilton struggles again, and the Jets overall as a team struggle again. So, the Jets lose again, and just ugly to say the very least. And I think this is going to get worse, and the Jets now fall to 0-3, and now Becton's hurt, and this is what stinks about Thursday night game, because now Becton's hurt. Becton's hurt. Becton's hurt, Font's hurt, some other guys, just soft tissue stuff. We have probably a day off today, Thursday night game. You probably have practice tomorrow and Tuesday, and you're not going to go crazy on a Wednesday before a game. So the Jets pretty much have about 1 day to whip up a quick game plan and head into the Thursday night game. So, quick turnaround. I don't mind Thursday night games as a fan because you don't have to wait a week to see them play again. You could see them quickly 4 days later. But we're going to have to whip up a quick game plan. They probably won't have practice today. Tomorrow, you're going to have to whip up a quick game plan for Sunday or Thursday. Wednesday, I don't imagine doing them crazy and much tackle drills because you have a game the next day. So it might be walkthroughs, and then Thursday's your game. So the Jets have about a day and a walkthrough of practice to figure out what's wrong, to figure out what we have to do better. There's a lot of things we have to do better, and the Jets just quick turnaround Thursday night. So, Jets-Broncos Thursday night. And a team playing with an arm and a leg, and a team playing with an arm and a leg. Because the Jets are injured a lot, Broncos are injured a lot. It's going to be probably a sloppy game. So the Jets got to figure out what's up. They got to figure out what's up. So, that's what I got for the Jets. Now we move on to the Giants. They're atrocious as well. They lose again. This is embarrassing. The Giants lose again. Okay, the Giants and the Jets, they both lost, but the Giants scored 2 more points than the Jets. The Giants lost 36-9. Jets lost 36-7. So the 2 main New York teams are now 0-6. Giants losing to the Steelers, the Bears, and the Niners. Jets losing to the Bills, the Niners, and now the Colts. So the Niners moved to 2-1 in the season. Giants moved to 0-3. The Giants were done before this game started. They came out flat. Daniel Jones is bad. He's bad this season. Daniel Jones has not done anything well this season. Giants were down 16-6 going into the half, which is reasonable. Like I said, the Jets and the Giants going into the half, it was reasonable. Did I think the Jets were going to come back? Heck no. But it was reasonable. Better than going to the half 21-3. I'd rather go into the half down 17-7 than go into the half down 21-3. The Jets and the Giants both won into half. Reasonable games, right? Yeah, 2 scores, but you're a defensive stop away from possibly making this game a one-score game. So they went into the half reasonable. The Giants' offense just couldn't do anything. I mean, their defense, it's tough to win with 9 points. That's the same thing with the Jets. It's tough to win with 7 points. I mean, you got to hold the other team to pretty much 6. It's tough to win. The Giants' offense kicked 3 field goals. 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and they got crushed. They got dominated in the second half as well. It was so bad, too. The Giants in the first half, their time of possession was dominated. They had 7 minutes of possession. 7 minutes. Niners at 23. Their possession in the first half was miserable. Just couldn't hang on to the ball. Giants lose again. Jones only gets worse with the turnovers. Jones took 2 sacks, 1 interception, 179 yards. It's just tough. 56.6 was his rating. Devontae Freeman had 5 attempts for 10 yards, nothing special. Slayton had 53 yards. Tate, 36 yards. Ratley, 29 yards. Ingram, 22 yards. Giants and the Jets look ugly. Jets look more uglier because I think the Giants, their first 2 games of the season, they were in both of them. The Jets have been blowouts all 3 of their games. So, Jets and the Giants lose. So, New York, a big market for sports, have probably could be the 2 worst football teams in the league. The Jets are probably the worst. Then it probably goes to the Eagles and the Giants. So, there it is for you, people. New York football. Woo! New York football is looking amazing this year. Bills, though, I mean, you're talking about the 2 main New York teams. They're 0-6. The Bills are 3-0. We'll talk about that coming up. So, now we move on to all the rest of the games for Sunday. So, these were the rest of the games. So, I went 10-5 total on my game picks. Wasn't amazing. I think I went 13-5. Yeah, I went 13-5. I'm pretty sure on my game picks. 10-5 on my game picks. I just have to check one more time after the podcast. But I went 10-5 on game picks, pretty sure. So right now I'm 33-15 overall. Tonight decides a lot. If I win tonight, then I'm 34-15. If I lose, then I'm 35-15 or 33-16. So hopefully I'm 34-15 by the end of tonight. So I went pretty good on my game picks. Nothing crazy, not like last week. I didn't have a breakout day like last week. Last week, what did I go? 13-3, I think, on my game picks. So I went amazing last week. Nothing like that. But this week was another iffy week. There was a lot of upsets. I did not expect the Falcons to blow another lead. Cardinals lost another one. There was a pretty good amount of upsets. Did not expect the Chargers to lose. Bengals-Eagles was not expecting that to be a tie. Did not expect the Rams to lose. I thought the Rams were going to beat the Bills. But, they lost. So there was a lot of games yesterday that I did not expect coming that did. So I went pretty good on my game picks, but nothing crazy special. So here we go. These are the games. So the Packers-Saints won. Packers won 37-30. I got this pick correct. The Packers, I had a feeling they were going to win this game. I don't know. Drew Brees has showed cracks. Drew Brees has shown rustiness. Drew Brees has shown aging these past couple of weeks. So Packers look good. Rodgers look good. With no Devontae Adams, less Rodgers looked very good. Rodgers did not seem to really miss Devontae Adams, although I'm sure he would love to have him out there. Didn't really miss him. Was able to find other receivers. Was able to find some other quality players. Really good. Rodgers had a very good game. Rodgers played solid. Got me like 30 points in fantasy. So he had a solid game. Rodgers looked good. Packers look good. Their defense looks solid. Had a couple nice plays. I think they had the takeaway late in the game, too. That was big. So the Packers win this game. Was expecting that. 37-30 Packers win. Seahawks, Cowboys. This game came down to really the final couple of plays. Russell Wilson right now is probably the early MVP candidate. I think he's got 14 touchdowns and 1 interception. He had 5 touchdowns again yesterday. I think he put up 47 points in fantasy. Almost 50. I mean, there's just a point where he's just unbelievable. He's just unbelievable right now. Played up against a bad Dallas defense, but still. The fact that he threw 5 touchdowns is just unbelievable. Seahawks moved to 3-0, and at the moment, they look like a true Super Bowl contender. Defense is playing well. Wilson's playing well. Metcalf-Wilson combo's looking great. One worry with them is Carson is out. But he didn't do much anything yesterday. He's questionable to return in yesterday's game. Didn't return. He's questionable for next week's game. Obviously, he got injured, but it didn't seem like they were using him anyway. Still, though, you don't want to see a guy ever go down like that. So the Seahawks win 38-31. Got that pick correct. This game really surprised me. Kyler Murray struggled big time. I think 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Lions won 26-23. I mean, I kind of had the Cardinals looking ahead. I said the Cardinals could very well start off the season 5-0 because they play the Lions, which I thought they were going to win. Then next week, I forget who they play. Next week, I think they play the Panthers. And then, yeah, I thought for sure, like, easily they're going to win this game, and they'll play the Jets, and they'll be 5-0. That wasn't the case. They lost yesterday, and they moved to 2-1 on the season. Got this pick wrong. Stafford played well. Lions overall played well as a whole. Their defense stepped up big times, big moments in games. So the Lions win in a surprising fashion. Next up, we have the Buccaneers and the Broncos. Buccaneers absolutely blew the Broncos out of water. Broncos look lost. Without Sutton, without Locke, without Miller, without Lindsey, they look lost. Melvin Gordon struggled. Driscoll wasn't special. I mean, they struggled. Broncos are kind of broken right now. I would say they're kind of in a little bit of one of those stages where you just don't know what to do, because you're losing. And Sutton ain't no name player either. Sutton's your probably number 1 receiver. Lindsey's your go-to back. Von Miller's your go-to guy in defense. Drew Lock's your starting quarterback. Like, these ain't no players that don't make that big impacts. I mean, you're talking about your possible future franchise quarterback that is out now, and you're talking about Drew Driscoll, who's not very good, is now starting. So Broncos are in an interesting situation, and this is another team too. They've got about Tuesday to practice, whip up a quick game plan. Wednesday, they got to travel to play the Jets at MetLife Stadium for the Thursday night game. So it's going to be interesting. I think that game's could very well be sloppy and low scoring. I think the Broncos-Jets game is going to be low scoring because both these teams have all right defenses. I think the Broncos will probably find a way to win, but the Broncos looked ugly, and the Buccaneers look good. I mean, they've gone wins against 2 bad teams. Broncos are bad without their key players, and the Panthers just aren't that good anyway. So they've gone wins against those teams, but other than that, they couldn't beat the Saints. So I want to see the Buccaneers against another good team. Now we moved. I got that pick correct. Now we moved to the Panthers-Chargers. Panthers won. I was surprised. I thought for sure the Chargers were going to win this game. Herbert looked good against the Chiefs. I thought there's no way he could look bad against the Panthers. It's a Chargers team that struggled a little bit. Austin Eckler had another good game. Joshua Kelly, who everybody was hyping up for fantasy, I didn't buy into it. I picked him up, but I didn't start him. Struggled. They overall did not play well. To kind of put it into words for you, the Chargers struggled. This was kind of a little bit of one of those games where you're just like, it kind of just seems like a whiff, like a blow-by. Like how in the world did we lose this game? Do we even play this game? It was an odd game for the Chargers. They lost by 5. Panthers win. Got this pick wrong. Bengals-Eagles won. I mean, Bengals-Eagles tied. So if you're wondering what I do with game picks when I tie, I get them wrong because I didn't predict them to tie. So I don't count as a tie for a game pick. I don't count, this game pick I had tied because I could predict them to tie. I didn't. So, to be honest with you, I think the Bengals and the Eagles are two. I think the Bengals were going to win this game. I got this pick wrong. Here's my problem. The Eagles had so many chances in that game to win. Penalties late hurt them badly. Badly they hurt them. Very badly they hurt them. Penalties late hurt them badly. So, penalties late hurt them. Bengals now lose. Bengals now were able to tie, and the Eagles now lose. I mean, you're talking about penalties, false starts, delay games. I mean, this was horrible. I mean, they were in field goal range. They were in range to win the game, and they had all these penalties bump them back, and they ended up losing the game. So tying the game. So the Eagles tie. They're 0-2-1. Bengals now are 1-2-1, 1-1. I think they're overall 1-1-1. So the Bengals now are 1-1-1, and the Eagles are now 0-2-1. So them two tie. The Eagles got to straighten up. I mean, they had so many penalties. They lost that game. Bengals win. Now we move on to the Bears and the Falcons. Bears bench Mitchell Trubisky. Bring in Nick Foles. He works some Foles magic. Down by 16, I think? 26-10. They down by 16. Falcons blow another lead. And the Falcons right now would technically be 2-1 if those leads stay intact. So Falcons blow another lead. Bears win. Nick Foles worked some of his magic. Matt Nagy said when they got home to Chicago yesterday that he would work out something with the coaches to who's going to start for that. Who's going to start for that game? Who's going to start? Is it going to be Nick Foles? Is it going to be Trubisky? Who's going to start next week game? That's kind of up in the air still for the Chicago Bears. Foles did look very good. He made some good impressions for the Bears head coaches and Bears offensive coordinators to show him that he should be able to start. Had a good game. Al Robinson caught a couple nice catches. David Montgomery had a good game. Jimmy Graham caught a touchdown. Bears win 30-26. They moved 3-0 on the season. It's crazy. They're a 3-0 team, and they had to bench their starting quarterback. It's pretty crazy how they're 3-0. Now we move on to the Patriots and the Raiders. Like I said, I don't really buy into all this Raiders hype. They start off 2-0. Everybody said, the Raiders are going to win against the Patriots. I didn't foresee it happening. Patriots win this game. They moved to 2-1 on the season. They win by 16, really blow out the Raiders. The Raiders looked a little flat. Their offense did not look like they did against the Saints. And the Patriots have another big rushing day. Cam Newton, Rex Burkhead had 3 touchdowns. Cam had a couple nice plays. Patriots win again. Just how the Patriots are. It doesn't seem like they're going to go away at all. So the Patriots win again by 16 points. Titans, Vikings. Vikings are sitting at 0-3. I mean, this is just insane. You're talking about a team that last year made the playoffs. They're sitting at 0-3 now. So the Vikings struggled. The Titans played well. Tannehill, good game. Pretty good game by the offense. Pretty good game overall. Henry had a couple nice plays. I think he had a touchdown. They win 31-30. They were trailing in this game late. Titans come up big with a big win. Titans now move to 3-0. Vikings are 0-3. I was saying this earlier to somebody I was talking earlier to. This is one of the oddest Week 4 matchups coming up. The Titans and the Texans, or the Vikings-Texans. You have 2 0-3 teams that made the playoffs last year. Okay, this is a Vikings team last year that beat the Saints, ended up losing to the eventual second-place finishers in the 49ers. And this is a team in the Texans that were crushed, that were up 24-0 against the Chiefs. They were almost beat the Super Bowl champion Chiefs. They almost beat them. And they're 0-3 going into Week 4. It's the oddest 0-3 matchup. It's like these two teams are good, but they're both 0-3. It's so odd. So that's going to be an interesting game. Whoever loses that game more than likely is probably done. So the Vikings win, or the Titans win. Good yay by the Titans. Vikings defense does not be able to come up late with some big stops. Bills-Rams. This was a big game. Bills were winning 28-3. Okay, the Rams crawl all the way back, make it 28-25. Then they make it 32-28. And then the Bills finish it off with a win, 32-28. The Bills end up scoring a touchdown late in the game. They scored a touchdown, and they won 35-32. An amazing game. I mean, the Rams, coming out of the half, right, it was 28-23. 21-3, 28-3, I think it was, coming out of the half. Rams start to score a touchdown. They score a touchdown 28-10. They score another touchdown 28-17. Score another touchdown 28-25 because they went for the 2. Then they score another. It's 32-28. We're talking the Bills blowing a 28-3 lead, and then the Bills late in the game, 15 seconds left, I think, score a touchdown. Find Tyler Croft in the corner of the end zone. Nice throw by Josh Allen. The Bills win 35-32. Bills move to 3-0 on the year. They're ahead in the AFC East. They play the Raiders next week, which is definitely a very winnable match at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Bills might be able to start off 4-0, and that is a very, very, very large possibility. And I think that next week, then I think they play. I looked earlier who they play that next week. I don't know if it's a winnable game or not, but the Bills might be 4-0. The Bills next week might find themselves 4-0. So the Bills are on a high note right now. They win 35-32. We already talked about the Giants game. Already talked about the Jaguars and Dolphins game. The Steelers-Texans. This game was interesting. Okay, the Texans hung around in this game. I expected that. The Texans hung around in this game. Watson took some big hits by T.J. Watt. He took one of those big hits. Watson took some big hits. Watson still missing DeAndre Hopkins. Cooks has not been able to get involved. Fuller's been meh. David Johnson's had a couple solid games. Watson's been meh. This is a Texans team right now that's got to strain things up. I think they got to have a very good week of practice because they lose against the Vikings. You're talking 0-4. 0-4 is one of the most difficult things to come back from. 0-3 is difficult. Even 0-2. Starting off 0-2 is even difficult to really come back from. So the Texans are now 0-3. Steelers played well. Roethlisberger to Schuster was a good connection. Schuster 4 receptions for 43 yards and a touchdown. He had a couple good, nice plays on that game. Connor had a couple nice plays. Roethlisberger played pretty well. the Steelers win. They're 3-0. Steelers are 3-0, and they're 3-0 right now. So a team, depending on how the Ravens do tonight, they're either going to be in a division lead or tied. So it is big for the Steelers. They win that game. Then we finish it off with the Browns and the football team. The Browns won 34-30 or 34-20. Beckham was completely out of the game. I mean, he had a couple receptions here and there, but he wasn't really a factor. Browns, this is the first time they have a winning record since 2014, so the Browns find a way to win. And now the Browns are 2-1. So Mayfield had a pretty solid game. Kareem Hunt had a pretty solid game. Nick Chubb, a couple players here and there. Their defense stepped up big in big moments of the game, like I said. No Denzel Ward-less defense. They played well, though. So the Browns win 34-20. So now this is the Monday night game tonight. So the over-under is already set at 54.5, which means it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. The over-under is already set at 54.5, and the Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. I disagree with this. Okay, I kind of just gave you my game pick. But here's so the over-under tonight: 2-0 Chiefs right now. And I said this earlier. At this very moment, this is the game of the year so far for the season. Like right now. 6-7 weeks from now, we're talking week 15 of the season, that could be the game of the year. But so far, week 3, this is probably the best game, I think, best primetime game we've seen all year so far. And I think that's an outrageous statement. I mean, what are the other prime games? Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say, what are the other prime games that were really, really, really all that good? I mean, last night's game, I guess, Patriots-Saints, but I think this is definitely a game of the year. I think a lot of people think that these could be very well the Super Bowl favorites. You have the 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs coming in against the 2-0 Baltimore Ravens. Over-under is 54.5. 3.5-point favorites are the Ravens. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, ESPN. Ravens are home, which doesn't really matter. The inactives for the Chiefs are Ward, O'Daniel, Watkins. Watkins is questionable. These are questionables, and then the inactives are the Okafor is their defensive end, who's had a pretty good season. The actives for the Ravens are the inactives, or the questionable for the Ravens are Levine, Moore, Fluker, Matabuke, and Young is out. Their cornerback with a knee injury. So the Chiefs, Watkins is probably their most. Out of all these players, they're probably their most valuable. He's a concussion, so I don't know if he'll play. So those are your actives and inactives for tonight's game. Or questionables. So it's a little Mahomes-Jackson matchup, which is very good. Mahomes-Jackson always results in big games. Whether it's Mahomes going off for 4 touchdowns, whether it's Jackson going off for 3 rushing touchdowns, whatever it is. These are always shootout-type games. These are always very, very good games. So, tonight, this is my winner. Now, who I'm probably going to pick. I think this is kind of obvious. I'm actually pretty surprised that they're 3-point underdogs. I say the Chiefs win this game. Okay, I understand they struggled last week against the Chargers. I understand that. But, it also could have been part of the reason, and I'm a big believer in this, that it could have been they were looking ahead. Because this is, I think, early on, week 3, I think this is so far the best game that we've seen primetime so far. I'm based on the matchup. You got Jackson-Mahomes battle. You can make the argument they're the 2 best players in the league. 2 best quarterbacks in the league. Russell Wilson now might be ahead of them. Russell Wilson's probably in the front runner for the MVP. But if you follow what I'm saying, Mahomes-Jackson, this is a big game. This is a big game for them. And this is a little Mahomes, Jackson, Tyreek Hill, Marquise Brown. This is Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews. Every position you could think of, there's another guy in the other position. Right? Let's listen. Ready? Mahomes, Jackson. Running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, J.K. Dobbins, and whatever, Mark Ingram. J.K. Dobbins, right? The receivers, Marquise Brown, Tyreek Hill. Tight ends, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, right? It's literally the 2 offenses are so insanely good. The 2 offenses are just so good. And the defenses are okay. Ravens defense, very good. Chiefs defense is pretty good. I do think this is going to be a high-scoring game, though. The Chiefs put up big points. Ravens put up big points. You saw what happened with the Chiefs and the Rams 2 years ago. Now it was a very high-scoring game. There was anything the high-scoring game ever in Monday Night history. It was the same exact game. 2 firepower offenses, 2 firepower coaches, firepower teams, Ravens, Chiefs, Rams, same exact thing. I have it being a shootout. I have the Chiefs winning 35-31. Chiefs defense isn't anything special, people. Ravens defense is going to put up big points. Ravens defense is anything special, but look who's on the Chiefs offense. Chiefs win 35-31. Over-under is already set at 54.5, which is, it's going to be probably more than likely a high-scoring game because the over-under is already set at 54. Most of the over-unders are 40s. So I take the over on the over-under, and I have it being 68. So I take the over on the over-under of 54.5, and the Ravens, I don't think, win. I think the Chiefs win 35-31. And that Chargers game last week, I think part of the reason they kind of barely won that game was they could have been caught looking ahead a tad bit. Yes, they won, but it could have been a little bit of a looking ahead factor too. So they win. Chiefs win, I think, and they will move to 3-0 in the season more than likely. So the Chiefs win. Should be a very good game. I'm excited to watch it. Very excited. So should be a very good game. Hopefully you're excited as well. Now we move on to, I just think these two offenses are just too good. I mean, look at what's offenses. Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins, Lamar Jackson, Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill. Like, their offenses are just so good. So now we move on to fantasy. So my one league I'm tied in. I'm going to go to the league that I'm actually losing. Alright, so fantasy this week, I'm not losing at all in one of my leagues. It's 114 to, I'm losing in one of my leagues, 129 to 114. I'm down by 15 points. I need 15 to tie, 16 to win. So I'm projected to lose this game by 6. 129, 123. I've got Harrison Butker to play. I need him to give me... Now, look, my fantasy got me 40... Russell Wilson got me 46 points. Rodgers got me 30 points. So I need my player to get me. I need Butker to give me 16 points to win. So I need my kicker to give me 16 points. Is that possible? It's difficult. Here's the thing. I actually want this to be... I think it's going to be 35-31 is the final, but I actually want them to kick a lot of field goals. Because if he kicks a lot of field goals, then that means he needs like 2 50-yard field goals. Because that gives him 2 50-yard field goals is 12 points plus the extra points. So it's going to be difficult for him to give me 16 points. I need Butker to do insane. It's either they score like 7 touchdowns and he gets 7 points off of that and maybe like 2 50-yarders. It's going to be tough. I'm going to need Butker to do insane for me. It's going to be a lot. It's going to take a lot for Butker. It's going to take a lot for him to do. I mean, he need to give me 16 points. It's going to be a kicker's going to need to give me 16 points. This is how my week kind of went in fantasy. It wasn't amazing for my team. Rodgers got me 30. Elliott got me 11. Chris Carson got me 7, but he's also questionable with an injury. Schuster got me 12. Robinson got me 18. I was actually a little worried with starting Robinson. He got me 18. He had a big day. In for Adams. Ertz had me 7. Gurley at 14. Browns defense 13. I still got Butker to play. My bench, Adams got 0. Kittle got 0 because they were both out. Moore got 6. David Johnson got 10. Bills defense got 0. Robert Woods got 16. And Matt Ryan got 13. So I win. So right now I'm losing in this league by 15 to tie, 16 to win. I obviously want to get that 16 points to win. Now we move on to my other league. Watson got me 16, Drake got 7, Robinson got 24, Hill still got to play tonight, Evans got me 12. Evans had such a weird game, 2 receptions, 2 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was such an odd game. Keenan Allen got 17, Henry got 5, Hilton got 5, Steelers defense 9, Prater 14. See, Matt Prater got me 14 points. Like, I need that out of Butker tonight, except 2 more to give me 16. So right now, I have 109 points. My bench, Ertz got me 7, Breeze got 23, Jones Jr. got 5, Broncos defense got 3, Gibson got 9, and Joshua Kelly got 2. So right now, it's a tie game. 109-109. He's projected 133. I'm projected 118. He's still got Lamar Jackson to play, and I've still got... He's still got Lamar Jackson to play, and I've still got Tyreek Hill. So I need Tyreek Hill. This is the thing. In my one league, I want Butker to do well, but in my other league, I also want Hill to do well. So I need to find that balance there. If I need to win this game, I need Hill to give me like 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns, like 80 yards. That will give me 80 yards, 614. I'll give me like 20. And I hope Jackson does have a great game. Hopefully the Ravens rely a lot on the run game, not with Jackson. So I'm actually hoping Jackson doesn't do very well. I'm projected to lose, but I need Hill to do well. I need Hill to do good. Hill gets me 20 points, I'm okay with that. Gets me 15, that's going to be tough. I need to outscore Lamar Jackson. That's the thing. I need to outscore Jackson. Jackson's probably going to might put up 30. So I'm going to need Hill to put me up 35. That's the problem. I need a receiver to outscore a quarterback. That's difficult. So hopefully Hill can do that. I'm rooting for him to do that. Should be interesting there. The 1 week I benched Ertz, he actually had a pretty good week. He had 7 points. He had a big catch late in the game. He had 7 receptions for 70 yards. The 1 week I benched him, he did pretty well. Hunter Henry only got me 5. So if I lose by 2 points, that's going to be tough. But, yeah, so obviously, hopefully Hill does a good game as well. Should be interesting. So that's kind of fantasy. Tonight you start, if you have Mahomes, you start him. If you have Jackson, you start him. You have Hill, you start him. Have Kelsey, start him. Marquise Brown, I don't know if he would be started for you. I don't know if he's really a number one receiver right now. But there's definitely a chance there. So I think it's a good week. I think this was a good week for the fantasy football. I might lose in both leagues, but I think my team showed good. Like, my team in my one league showed, I'm not going to be satisfied with 2 losses, but I hope Butker can give somehow, some way. If Butker got me 12 last week, but I need him to give me 16. Like, if somehow, some way he can do that, like, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be quite interesting. So that's what I got for fantasy. Just kind of a quick run through of the results. Now we move on to the Yankees, the Mets, and all that stuff. So the Yankees lost yesterday. But the Yankees also now play. So the Yankees lost. They moved 33 and 27 on the season. The 60-game season is done. They play tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time against the Indians. Should be fun. Hopefully Yankees win. Yankees yesterday had no runs, 6 hits, no errors. Marlins, 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors. Yankees. LeMay went 2 for 3 with a walk. Judge 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Hicks 0 for 4. Voit 0 for 3 with a walk. Urshela 0 for 4. Torres 1 for 4. Gardner 3 for 4. Sanchez 0 for 4. Wade 0 for 3. Clark Schmidt went 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Holder 2 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, no walks, no strikeouts. Nick Nelson 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Yankees lose that game. Doesn't really matter though. We do go to the playoffs. The Mets. This is my final time I'll be talking about the Mets this season. They capped off their season yesterday as well. 15-5 loss. They lost 15-5. They moved to 26 and 34 on the season, so they finished with 26 and 34. They had 5 runs, 12 hits, no errors. Washington 15 runs, 11 hits, no errors. So the Nationals missed the playoffs. Mets missed the playoffs as well. Nemo went 2 for 5 with a run scored. Cano 0 for 3. J.D. Davis 0 for 1 with a walk. Alonso went 3 for 5 with 2 runs and 3 RBIs. Frazier went 0 for 5. Ramos went 1 for 3. Chirinos went 0 for 1. Gilmore went 2 for 3 with a run scored and a walk. Rosario went 2 for 4. Heredia went 2 for 4 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. Cordell went 0 for 4. Lugo went 1 1/3, 5 hits, 6 earns, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Shreve, 2/3 of an inning, no hits, no earned, 1 walk, no strikeouts. Brad Bach, no innings, no hits, 3 earned, 3 walks, no strikeouts. Matz, 3 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Batanzas, 1/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 3 earned, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. Hughes, 2/3 of an inning, no hits, no earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And Familia, 2 innings, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. The Mets finish off their season. That is it for them. And now their off-season starts. Now their off-season starts, and this is the end of that little error with the this is the end with the what's it called? They get Steve Cohen now as their owner. So Will Pond's run with the Mets is pretty much over, as Steve Cohen now will take over that team. So now we move on to the Stanley Cup. The Stars are down 3-2 in the series, or 3-2 in the series. Lightning are up tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NBC. I give the Lightning the win. I think they cap it off Actually, I give the Stars the win. They won last game. I'll give the Stars the win. I think they cap it off tonight with a win, and they move the game. They force this into a Game 7 of the final. So they force this into a Game 7. I think they win. Stars win tonight. Force it into a Game 7. Should be interesting. Yeah. Back to the Yankees. If the Yankees want to win in the playoffs and do well, we have to get more than 6 hits, people. We have to get a lot more than just 6 hits. And no runs. So now we move on to college football. Miami won. They had a big game. Miami had a huge game. 52-10 was a pretty close game. So, so let's move on to college football. So BYU won. Got that correct. Virginia Tech won, got that correct. Texas A&M won, got that correct. Tennessee won, that correct. Alabama won, that correct. Texas won, that correct. Kansas State upset Oklahoma. Oklahoma struggled. Their quarterback struggled. Rattler struggled. They get upset. Kansas State wins 38-35. Appalachian State got that correct. That Kansas State game got wrong. Appalachian State got correct. Florida got correct. Louisiana got correct. Auburn got correct. Pittsburgh got correct. UCF won. I got that correct. Cincinnati won. I got that correct. LSU lost to Mississippi State. Got that wrong. OK State won. You could tell they missed Burrow. I mean, they just weren't able to really do much in the past game. OK State got that correct. Georgia got that correct. So those are the college games. Just kind of quickly run through them. And then Miami won 52-10. We absolutely dominated. Was exciting to see that how much they dominated yesterday. Was really exciting to see that. It was crazy. Or 2 days ago they dominated, so it was a great game by them. 52-10. Derek King had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, just dominated. Had a couple nice runs. Cameron Harris had a couple nice runs. He had 2 touchdowns. Just overall, it's a great game. And now the Hurricanes have a bye week. Miami has a bye week. And then next week. So this week's a bye week for them. So they don't play this week. That next week, they play the Clemson. So, week from Saturday, they play Clemson, which is a huge game. So that's going to be huge. So this is exciting news for Miami. We got a couple big games coming up to really prove that we are a great team. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So Miami is now 3-0 in the season. Should be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be exciting. We have a bye week this week. Then that next week we play Clemson, which should be good. Monday Night Football tonight. Yankees tomorrow. Packed sports week. I mean, it is packed. You have Monday night tonight and the Stanley Cup. So you have those 2 things. No baseball tonight. Baseball's off for today. Absolutely no baseball. Like, not even just the Yankees. Just all around. No baseball. Tomorrow starts the postseason for baseball with the Yankees. Do a whole show on that. And then Wednesday starts. Then Wednesday's more baseball. So this week I'm actually going to talk a lot of baseball. Wednesday I'm talking baseball. Tuesday I'm talking baseball. Tomorrow I'm talking baseball. Wednesday I'm talking baseball. Thursday will be the Jets and baseball. And then Friday will be baseball again. So I'm talking a lot of baseball. Oh, I always talk baseball on this podcast. But, really in depth with the Yankees. So that should be good. So we got Monday night tonight. We got Yankees tomorrow, Yankees Wednesday, Jets Thursday, packed sports week. So Monday night tonight, enjoy your rest of your day. Have a good rest of your Monday. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Enjoy watching the games tonight, the big game tonight. The Chiefs-Ravens should be a good game. I think Chiefs will win, like I said. With all that being said, enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.